Hello and welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. This is my Eurovision 2025 February update number 2. Now we've had another busy week in Eurovision national final seasons. We've had no fewer than 5 songs decided in national finals this week. We began the week on with 2 semi-finals in Malta in the Tuesday and the Thursday with 16 songs going through to the final, and we've also had the release of both the names of the artists and the songs themselves for the Danish national final, which will be taking place in a couple of weeks' time. Then we had our first national final week was held on Friday, and that was in Ireland. It was Eurosong, and it was actually a special edition, once again, of The Late Late Show. Now, The Late Late Show is a very long-running, popular Irish kind of talk entertainment programme. And they had 6 artists competing, and the winner was a singer from Norway called Emmy with her song Like a Party. Now, Emmy actually had been rejected for the Norwegian national final MGP this year, but she had been accepted into the Irish selection and went on to win, and she won a convincing victory. She won the national jury, she won the televote, and she came second. I think either second or joint. I think she came second with the international juries. So there was no doubt that Ireland wanted to send her to Basel. And then we come to Saturday. But before we come to Saturday, please do, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell, and of course like, share, and comment below. So yes, on Saturday we had 4 national finals plus 3 semi-finals or heats taking place. And if we look at those heats first, we have the second semi-final for Melfest, Sweden, taking place. One of the big favourites overall for the contest was in this heat, Clara Hammarström. She's been twice a finalist in Melfest in 2021 and 2022, came 6th both times. She is through to the final following that heat. We also had the last of the Lithuanian semi-finals, so the songs for the Lithuanian final are now decided. They also had the 2 kind of qualifiers from each of those semi-finals, plus the 2 what were called wild cards, but I think they were the 2 third places that received the most votes across the programme, so they will also be in the final. And we also had the first of the Icelandic semi-finals taking place, that Song for Keppin. They've got 5 songs, 3 went through to the final. In fact, the 2 songs I think that they missed out, that didn't go through, were actually 2 of the favourites, so that caused some consternation in fandom. But now if we turn to the actual finals where songs were decided, there were, although this wasn't the scheduled first, it was the one that got to the winner first, and that was in Finland, UMK, and the winner there was Erika Vikman with Ich Komme. Now this was the big favourite going into the contest, particularly after withdrawal of one of the other artists, for reasons that we've already been through on this channel. But Erika came second with the jury, and she came first, a very thumping first with the televote. Now, of course, UMK has a slightly unusual system that has 75% televote, 25% international jury. Now, one of the reasons for that was that Erika herself was sunk by the international jury back in 2020, of course the cursed year when of course Eurovision was cancelled, and she won the televote very easily, but then was completely trashed by the juries, and ever since then UMK has switched to a different model. Her song then, Cicciolina, which was a great song. That, of course, wouldn't have gone to Eurovision even if it had won, because Eurovision was cancelled that year. But anyway, we will see Erika at Eurovision, and I'm sure she'll put on quite a show. UMK, just while we're here, really is taken on the mantle of probably one of the very best, if not the best, of the national finals. They've completely revamped it. in the last years. It's grown and grown. Finland desperately want to win, I think, and they are fully capable of hosting as well. They obviously have hosted before, but I think they would put on a really good show. And also in UMK this year, they had one of the designer or the stage director was Sergio Hayen, who was the creative director around Bambi Thug's entry last year for Ireland at Eurovision, which was much lauded. He's only 23 years old, but yes, he came in and did all of the songs for UMK, all 6 of them. It's also been announced that he will be working again at this year's Eurovision. He is going to be doing the staging for Cyprus, and also, having listened to the Eurotrip podcast recently, he's going to be doing it for another country, but that one is being kept under wraps for now. I'm going to take a guess and go it might be Spain, because he's now living, it's his home country, he's now living back in Madrid, or it could be the UK, given that would definitely be of interest to the Eurotrip podcast viewers, listeners, as they are heavily from the UK, and he did used to live in London as well, so who knows. Those are my picks for who it might be. But back to the finals. We had our shortly hot on the heels of Erica winning in Finland. We had the Ukrainian result in Vidbia. Now they had a very, very long show. It's actually pre-recorded. The crowd and all the participants and all of that part of the show was all pre-recorded for very, very understandable reasons. They don't do that live because of just the risk of attack and deliberate attack as well, I imagine. And so they do the voting is done live, but they do the voting results are done kind of in a very secure studio, in a much smaller one. So they are sort of separated into. Ukraine put on a really good show. It was a really impressive. Lots of stars of past Ukrainian Eurovision were there, and a really good and eclectic lineup as well. Perhaps a slight surprise winner was a band called Zifferblatt with their song "Bird of Prey," and it's not bird of prey as in the actual bird of prey, but prey as in praying. So play on words. But Zifferblatt did come second in Vidbia last year as well, and this year they won. They came second with the juries, and they came first in the televote, much like Erica did as well. There's going to be a bit of a pattern here when we come to Malta as well, and yes, so they will be heading to Basel for Ukraine. Then we come to Latvia and Supernova, and we've had their winner is Tautamatus with their song Boerman Laimi. I probably not pronounced that correctly, but hopefully by the end of the Eurovision season I will know how to pronounce that correctly. And that was a really interesting song. We don't know what the breakdown was in terms of jury and televote, because Latvia just tell you who the top 3. They do the order but not the points at the end. But they are going to be the first Latvian entry that sings fully in Latvian. Their entry 2 years ago in Liverpool had a couple of lines of Latvian, but it was mostly in English. But yeah, this is the first Latvian language song since 2004, and it's only the second fully Latvian song that they've had, because the 2004 song was the only previous Latvian language song that they've had. So that's a nice thing to see. I do like seeing things being sung in their own languages. And finally we come to Malta, the Malta Eurovision Song Contest, which obviously had its 2 semi-finals earlier on in the week. That was won by Mirjana Conte and her song Cant. Yes, you heard that correctly, which means singing in Maltese. Mirjana, she came second with the jury and she came first with the televote. That's 3 of the songs, 3 of the 4 songs that won on Saturday came second with the juries and first with the televote. So she will go to Basel and will be in the same semi-final, in fact the same half of the same semi-final as Erica Wickman, which is that'll be quite an interesting one. But I think probably the producers are probably breathing a sigh of relief that they're both in the second halves of their semi-final, because they may want to put them on a little bit later, as they are yes, probably something not something for the children maybe. And we complete the week with the release just a couple of hours ago at the time of recording of the Armenian national final songs. Now, looking ahead to next week, we've got another very busy week coming up, and the most important thing to say, it is San Remo week. Yes, the Italian National Musical Festival, the music festival, the programme that inspired Eurovision Song Contest is back. It begins on Tuesday, it runs every night from Tuesday through to Saturday. But as well as San Remo, we do have a couple of other things during the week. So on Friday night, we have the first heat of the German selection, Chefsache, and we also have the Polish national final as well. On the Saturday, we have yet another super Saturday. This time we have four more finals, and also again 3 semi-finals. So we have the third semi-final of Sweden, Melfest. We have the second heat of Germany's Chefsache coming straight after the first heat, and we also have the second and final Icelandic semi-final. But then if we move on to the finals that we get on that night, we have Estonia, Estelal, we have Lithuania. Obviously we've had quite a lot of semi-finals with Lithuania. We have Norway's MGP, and we also have, of course, as already mentioned, the San Remo final. But that doesn't stop. That's not the end with the finals. We have a Sunday final as well. So my video next week will probably come on a Monday rather than Sunday, because Armenia are holding their national final, Depi Evrastil on the Sunday. So a lot more songs coming, and you never know, we might get some more songs or artists announced. You may notice that I have not mentioned the UK. Yes, there have been a couple of things said or in the papers and blurted out by Radio 1 DJs as well, but until it's official, nothing is official, so I will wait till something official comes out before I talk about that having been announced. But we may get some artists and songs released that I don't yet know about in the week, but of course I will summarise that when we come to next week's update. So please do join me then and enjoy all of the Eurovision National Final content we've got this week. Take care.